joined by Julian Assange himself, the founder of WikiLeaks. And Julian, I want to read to you what an opinion piece written in today's New York Times, which is by an Andrew Exum at the Center for a New American Security, who claims to have read all the 92,000 documents, and says that by muddying the waters between journalism and activism, and by throwing your organization into the debate on Afghanistan with little apparent regard for the hard moral choices and dearth of good policy options facing decision makers, that he accuses you of being as reckless and destructive as the contemptible soldier or soldiers who leaked the documents in the first place. What is your reaction to that?
Well, just another ridiculous neocon apologist. I mean, we expect these sort of reactions whenever we do good work, when we expose billions of dollars of corruption or we introduce material that leads to a change of election. We say the same sort of patronage of people coming out and trying to give their spin. So of course, this man has not read 92,000 documents. I think there is, only briefly skimmed this article, but I think there is some kind of intimation that he at one stage had access to that network when he was a contractor working in Iraq. So you can see he was actually getting his money directly from the occupation of Iraq. And
but
so
what do you think?
Bound up with that whole shooting match there. So this opinion piece is just that. It's opinion. It is not based upon hard news. Our material is based upon hard news. 92,000 documents by the U.S. military covering a 6-year period, the most extensive objective compendium of war that has ever been released during the progress of the war.
But the White House is saying that some of the documents do actually endanger lives. What's your reaction to that?
Well, they're not saying that. They're saying that they may possibly endanger U.S. troops. And of course, anything may possibly happen. A Martian may land on the White House tomorrow evening. However, that doesn't mean it has actually happened yet. And we have a 4-year publishing history during that time, despite introducing extraordinary reforms and breaking extraordinary stories. No one, to our knowledge, and it has never been alleged that any of our materials have led to anyone being harmed physically. And I doubt this case will prove to be any different. We have undergone a 1-month review of that material. We've held back 15,000 pages for a more extensive review to fit in with our harm minimization policy. So once again, this is just a usual rhetorical trick to divert the strength of the message by not looking at what it says, but instead trying to color the message by attacking the messenger.
What's your reaction, Julian Howard?
Well, I think that the problem with these 92,000 documents is that there is no context for them. This is not really a story as such. It is a massive dumping onto the agenda of 92,000 different bits and pieces. So there's really no context, there's really no story. It's not publishing in the normal sense at all. I think that what we've seen is that the journalist, the world of journalism, of real journalism, has had its day of analysing these documents and coming up with the conclusion. It's a sort of contradictory conclusion, because on the one hand they are essentially saying that there's nothing new, but on the other hand they are also saying that this is very sensational. So you can't have it both ways. But my real problem with it is the context, which is missing.
Julian Assange?
Well, that's the work of academics, start providing the context. People should go and do their job. We've done our job. We've collected this material. We've protected the source. We've got all this into a more or less human-readable condition. We've put together 3 most impressive news organizations within their respective countries, worked on this a month, showing you the way forward. We've read approximately 2,000 of those documents in details. That is what has informed the New York Times stories, the 14 pages that appeared in The Guardian on Monday, the 17 pages that appeared in Der Spiegel, that obviously, as a sort of total compendium of war over 6 years, it is impossible for just us 4 organizations to do any sort of justice to it. It's going to require academics to do statistical analysis, the reporting in there. It's going to require U.S. soldiers who were there on the ground, who understood each event because they were there to put it in context. going to take Afghani refugees and Afghan specialist journalists who are involved in those events or surrounded them to come forward and step forward. All this material is now on the agenda, unadulterated, out before the public. People can criticise it if they want, or they could actually get to work. I suggest they get to work in documenting and creating history and helping us understand the progress of this war.